Up next, we have Jon Drucker, representative with V-Vero, Cannabis Cloning and Nursery. The founders of V-Vero come for the agricultural and cannabis sectors of the startup nation of Israel. Lacking natural resources, Israel is known to be on the cutting edge of agricultural technology. V-Vero has created a revolutionary technology for the cultivation of cannabis and hemp in the United States. Jon Drucker is here to tell you more. Let's put it together for Jon. Why wouldn't we?
Thank you, Rourke. Okay, as Rourke said, I am Jon Drucker. I'm a lawyer, and I'm here representing V-Vero, which is a company in the advanced propagation of cannabis and hemp. And in just regular lay terms, that means that it makes your cannabis plant, it puts your plant as though it's on steroids. It increases its yield of flower and other byproducts of the plant by anywhere between 15 to 30%, averaging about 25%. So before I get into the nitty-gritty of that, let me tell you a little bit about the people behind it and the opportunity as well as the market. Daniel Sagi is the scientific genius behind the entire operation. Over the last 3 years, he has developed what is called a rootstock for cannabis, which has never existed before, that it can accommodate all strains, all varieties of cannabis, and boost their production by, as I said, an average of 25%. Itai Zamir is a guy who's put this all together. He has experience, he ran a company called Whoosh in the water sector of Israeli agricultural scene, and Gal Pridan is an agricultural guru in Israel and has brought his talent to this enterprise as well. So let's look at the opportunity. Actually, let me just to possibly abbreviate my address here. How many of you are in the cannabis industry presently? Okay, a lot. How many of you have invested funds in the cannabis industry? And how many of you are brand new to the cannabis industry? Okay, so I'll talk to you later, and I'll breeze through some of these slides. As you know, cannabis market is exploding. You know, it was $12.5 billion last year. It's going to be about $22 billion next year. Next slide. And of course, the market penetration is growing as well. The trend is clear. 11 states and the District of Columbia have fully legalized the consumption of marijuana. 33 more have legalized the medical use of marijuana. My favorite is Maine, up in the upper right-hand corner there, which, is that right? Which legalized the consumption of marijuana for recreational purposes through a ballot referendum, public ballot referendum. And on that same day where they cast those ballots, they voted down gay marriage, but voted yes for cannabis. So I can only conclude that the people of Maine think that marriage is a sacred institution between a very stoned man and a very stoned woman. So, next slide. And hemp, of course, is in the same category. It's actually come from beneath the level of cannabis, in the last few years, but is poised to skyrocket over the next few years because of, next slide, the 2018 Farm Bill, which legalized it on a federal level. So next slide. And as you can see from this chart, with projections from people who supposedly know about this stuff, because who knows, it's really a guessing game, they see the market for hemp growing to the same level as that of cannabis by the year 2022. And why do I point this out? Because V-Vero's product is suitable for cannabis and hemp. And it addresses the major problems that are facing cannabis growers. You have high production costs, you have high tax rates, size of the operation has gotten big, if not gargantuan, with large greenhouses and vast fields to grow cannabis and hemp. And of course, as a result of that, as the last speaker mentioned, the market price per pound of cannabis has been going down, down, down. And it shows no signs of abating. As you see here, a graph of the market in Colorado. Just a few years ago, a pound of cannabis was selling for about $2,000. Today, it's selling for about $1,000. So the question is, how do you get more dollar of revenue out of every dollar you invest? How do you produce more flower, more byproduct for every dollar you invest? And it's been a dream of the industry to do this. And what they've been trying to do it with, and what they do generally in order to grow better cannabis, and certainly it has improved in terms of potency as well as some other beneficial features, is they graft one plant onto another. The root is the rootstock. The plant that you're putting into the rootstock is called a scion. And the problem with cannabis is that the improvements have been marginal, and they never have boosted the robustness, the health and growth of the plant and its flowers. So it's this lack of a rootstock that is suitable for cannabis or hemp that has hampered the industry from growing a super plant until now. V-Vero has a unique cannabis cloning and grafting technology. Next step. And as you see in the slide, here, the control sample is on the left. You have a normal growth of flower. And on the right, this happened to be OG Kush that they were growing. On the left is the control sample. With V-Vero technology, it got a much more robust flowering of the plant. And the reason is this. With a great rootstock, you can go from a thin, anemic plant to a very healthy, large, robust plant. Say stronger plants means more flower, which means more revenue. For instance, let's say each cannabis plant now generates a half a pound of flower. And flower sells for $1,000 a pound. Each plant generates $500. With V-Vero technology, that plant can now produce 5/8 of a pound of flower per plant, which means $125 more for each and every plant. So as you can see, this is a revolutionary deal, and right now V-Vero is very well poised to cement a deal with a major grower of cannabis and hemp in California that would require the production of 10 million clones per year. And V-Vero is planning on selling these super clones for $25 a piece, which, if you do the math, comes out to $250 million in the very first year. So if you're interested in that kind of opportunity, get in touch. Thank you.